Hello there, Chastu here with a review of Transcribe! That's the software I use to slow down music to learn licks. It has lots of features, but I'm going to introduce you just the basic ones today. And this is the interface when you first open it. First thing we're going to need to do is open an audio file. It will open lots of different formats. This is an MP3. And there you can see the waveform. The piano keyboard won't be using it. I tend to close it. You can click and drag it and get it out of the way. And here we go. Press spacebar to play the file. Every time you press spacebar, you'll jump back to the beginning. If you want to pause the audio, you use the comma on the keyboard. Let's try that. Pause. To restart, press the comma key again. Hitting the spacebar will take us back to the beginning. So that's the basic transport. There are also buttons down here: start and pause, stop, back to the beginning, go to the end, never use that, and rewind and fast forward, never use those either. The first things we might want to do is zoom in and out of the waveform so we can see more or less of it. Clicking on these buttons will do that. That's zooming in, a little too close, zooming out, so you can see the whole file. Let's go back to the middle. Clicking and dragging the little button in the middle will also do it. About there, it's fine, maybe. Okay. You can also change the volume in the same way, clicking on the icons here. The other thing you might need to do before you start work on the track is to tune it to concert. Some of the tracks that you borrow from CDs or the internet will not be exactly in tune. Now down here is a slider where you can increase the pitch in semitone jumps or decrease it. This is a blunt instrument, but it's quite useful if you've got a song, say, in some complicated key that isn't good for violin, like F sharp, and you want it in G. You can push it up a semitone. Like that. Let's go back. Most of the time, all you need to do is tweak the tuning a little bit to get it into concert pitch so that you can play along with all your songs without having to retune between songs. So let's move up to the FX button here. Clicking on the effects button brings up the effects box. You'll need to select the tuning tab, and now here you can change the tuning of the track in cents, which is a very small amount, either up or down. When you're happy with your tuning, you can close the box. Now let's save what we've done so far. Clicking on the save file will save an XSC, I don't know what that stands for, an XSC file, which is the native, and that will remember all your settings: the volume, the pitch, the speed of the loops, everything you add to the track will be remembered in that file. So that's the one we're really working on. Okay, let's make a loop. Back to the beginning. Now, as the track was playing, when it got to a section I wanted to mark, I hit the M key on the keyboard and the little green markers popped up. Let's zoom in a bit. There we go. You can go through the whole song and do that and mark, hitting M every time you want to position a marker. These markers can be moved. You can click it and drag them around if they're not exactly in the right place. But now we can make our first loop from the beginning to marker 1. To do that, just click at the beginning. We can see that's the beginning. Click and drag across to marker 1. release. That's our first loop. Hit spacebar. And as you see, it now loops because it's a loop. If you need to tweak the loop itself, it's not exactly in the right place, you can do two things. Either grab the whole loop and move it backwards and forwards in the middle, or you can go to the edges and click and drag it out at either end until it's exactly in the place you want. That sounds fine. Now, the next thing we need to do is save this loop. Bring up the effects button. Bring up the effects box again. Click on the miscellaneous tab. Now, this is where you will store your loops. Right click on an empty section here and then just click on store, and there's our loop saved. I will prove that. Clicking off, the loop disappears. If we want it back, go back to the box, just click on the section that you've saved earlier. There it is. Okay, let's make another loop now. So the second loop we need is between 1 and 2. Click and drag to 2. Let's play it. Okay, that sounds about right. Go back to the box, right click and store, and that's your second loop stored. Now you can flick backwards and forwards between the two, between 1 and 2. And you can go on and store initially 20 loops, but don't panic. If you need more, you can actually right click and insert after, and then you'll see we now have 21. So you can keep adding segments. Also, if you go through the entire tune and there are certain loops that you really like, certain licks you want to learn, you can right click and colour them in. So let's say our favourites are red. So you can colour code them. You could, when you've learnt one, colour it yellow. Up to you. You can also drag and move these sections around if they're in the wrong place. What I tend to do is divide it up into short sections, and then let's click and drag back to the beginning here, go back to the box and save another loop, which is the two combined. It's the two previous loops combined. Now that's the whole intro. Now, time to learn the loops. The first one's not too bad. It's basically the melody. But the second one is a bit trickier, so I may want to slow that one down. Now I can slow it down by using the buttons at the top of the software here. 70% speed would give us this. 50% would give us this. That's usually as far as I need to go, and the notes are still really clear. There are some artifacts creeping in. You can go even slower if you wish. And that really helps to learn these tricky licks by ear. Let's go back to 70%, that's enough. You can also use the slider down here to tweak the speed, but most of the time the buttons at the top are perfectly fine. And there are your loops. Playing at 80% now. And that's basically an introduction to Transcribe, which is very useful for learning licks by ear. Now, this is indispensable software for learning licks, and you can buy it from the 7th String website, 7thstring.com, and it's $39 for one copy. Now, there is a link in the description below, but I must point out that that is an affiliate link. And if you buy the software using that, then it won't cost you a cent more, but I will receive a small amount. but that would be great. So if you do decide to buy the software, please consider using the affiliate link in the description below. And thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. Do the subscribing thing and the liking if you enjoyed the video. Keep fiddling.